a tragedy to see them gone because all the good work that they did goes with them.
A horrific accident during one of the year's busiest travel weekends. A record-breaking 3 million air travelers on Sunday alone navigating through the massive winter storm, with thousands of delays and cancellations continuing on through today.
Good evening. The post-Thanksgiving re-entry has been no holiday. 42 million people living under weather alerts tonight. The snow falling here in New York City right now at the height of the evening rush, with more to come. Part of a powerful nor'easter sweeping from Tennessee to Maine, delaying and stranding returning Thanksgiving weekend travelers, burying many communities in snow and leaving several people dead. Our team is in place to cover it all, starting with Gabe Gutierrez.
We're dialed in on IFB, Jim? Yeah, we are. Hi, I got you. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm gonna put it in my pocket so it stays warm. How are you, man? Everything good up there in New York? So far today, we've had 5,300 flight delays, 770. I'm going to take off the glasses. Don't worry, Charles. 775 canceled. Moved to the east on low ceilings out in San Francisco.
loud and clear. Thanks, guys.
Breaking news tonight, the powerful nor'easter is striking as we come on the air. The dangerous storm blasting the northeast after sweeping coast to coast. Tens of millions under winter weather alerts from Tennessee to Maine. Heavy snow, up to 30 inches falling in some parts. The roads treacherous. Hundreds of crashes. States of emergency declared as travelers are still stranded in airports struggling to get home. And the deadly plane crash in blizzard conditions. 9 members of the same family killed. What we've now learned. Also breaking, the shooting scare at another American high school. The 17-year-old student accused of aiming a gun at officers.
We have him at gunpoint. He won't take his hands out of his pocket.
A school resource officer opening fire, injuring the suspect. The quick action, police say, saved lives. The deadly discovery at a top children's hospital. Former patients saying they were exposed to mold found in the hospital's operating rooms. That's led to 6 child deaths. Speaking out, Prince Andrew's accuser in that much-anticipated interview.
There's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me.
What she says about the night this photo with the Queen's son was taken, and growing calls for him to tell all to U.S. authorities about Jeffrey Epstein. And the price you pay this Cyber Monday, shattering records, where you can still score some amazing deals.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. The post-Thanksgiving re-entry has been no holiday. 42 million people living under weather alerts tonight. The snow falling here in New York City right now at the height of the evening rush, with more to come. Part of a powerful nor'easter sweeping from Tennessee to Maine, delaying and stranding returning Thanksgiving weekend travelers, burying many communities in snow and leaving several people dead. Our team is in place to cover it all, starting with Gabe Gutierrez.
Tonight, the first major snowstorm of the season is slamming the Northeast.
I'm happy I have off work because I wouldn't be prepared for this.
Tens of thousands of people are without power across the region. Massachusetts and Connecticut are bracing for more snow overnight. The powerful system now being blamed for at least 7 deaths nationwide.
Last year we had a good winter, so, take it as it goes, I guess.
7 counties in New York are under a state of emergency. 300 National Guard members deployed. 42,000 snowplow operators are on alert for a treacherous evening rush hour.
Get ready for this weather. Take it seriously.
Police have already responded to more than 700 crashes statewide. Some parts have seen well over 20 inches of snow.
I'm Kathy Park in Albany, New York, where the snow intensified again this afternoon. And with more snow expected tonight, the digging out has been nonstop.
Among the highest snowfall totals in the Midwest, 23 inches in Minnesota, 12 in Michigan, and 6 in Wisconsin. The storm overturning semis from North Dakota to Connecticut, and in Pennsylvania, one driver was killed when his SUV spun out of control. Authorities urging drivers to be careful with more snow on the way. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, Morristown, New Jersey.
This is Tom Costello. In a snow-covered cornfield in South Dakota, the tragic end to a Thanksgiving weekend hunting trip. Of 12 family members on board, only 3 survived. The NTSB now inspecting the remains of the single-engine Pilatus PC-12 near the small town of Chamberlain. Sources say the plane had been sitting for more than 24 hours before attempting a takeoff around 12:35 Saturday on an icy runway. The plane went down just a mile from the airport in terrible weather.
It started out as rain, which then turned to ice, which then turned to snow, mixed with incredibly high wind conditions.
On board, a prominent Idaho Falls family returning home. They had also worked to alleviate hunger overseas. Jim Hansen Jr. and Kirk Hansen, the founders of the Kiani Nutritional Supplement Company, were killed, along with their father, sons, sons-in-law, and a grandson, including 2 minors. Rescuers managed to pull 3 surviving members from the wreckage.
They wanted to make the world better. And when you have citizens like that, it's a tragedy to see them gone, because all the good work that they did goes with them.
A horrific accident during one of the year's busiest travel weekends. A record-breaking 3 million air travelers on Sunday alone navigating through the massive winter storm, with thousands of delays and cancellations continuing on through today. So far today, we've had 5,300 delays, 775 flight cancellations. And aside from the West Coast and San Francisco, most of that is centered between Philadelphia up to Boston. Delays in some cases, Lester, up to 3 hours tonight. Back to you.
All right, Tom Costello at Reagan Airport tonight. Meteorologist Dylan Dreyer is tracking it all. Dylan, we're in the middle of it here now. What are we in for tonight and tomorrow?
Well, Lester, through the night, we are still going to continue to see heavy bands of snow spinning off the ocean. 42 million people are under winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. Now, the storm will still produce snow through the mid-Atlantic tonight. Tomorrow morning across southern New England, we'll see bands of heavier snow, and then it moves up across Maine as we go into Tuesday evening. We are looking for an additional widespread 1 to 2 inches of snowfall, with as much as 8 inches through down east Maine, especially as we go through the day tomorrow. Now, even though the snow winds down tomorrow, Lester, the winds will still be gusty, so we still could see some delays at the airports.
Yeah, we're certainly feeling them here. Dylan, thank you. Also developing, a potential disaster averted today when a school resource officer shot a student who had pulled out a gun in his school west of Milwaukee. Our Molly Hunter is there tonight.
Today at Waukesha South High School, that same terrifying scene, and then relief. Just after 10 a.m., a student reported that another student had a gun. A school resource officer responded. Within minutes, additional officers arrived on scene.
We have him at gunpoint. He won't take his hands out of his pocket.
According to police, the student repeatedly ignored officers' commands.
The suspect removed the handgun from his waistband and pointed it at the officers.
Police say that's when an officer was forced to fire.
Shot fired, shot fired.
For students locked down in their classrooms, fear and confusion.
All of a sudden you hear gunshots outside your classroom and then a scream.
Didn't know if the shots were fake or real, so the whole time I just didn't know it. I didn't want to believe if it was like real or not.
Just totally confusing.
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
Thing.
Yeah, never been anything like this before.
The 17-year-old male suspect now at the hospital in stable condition. The police chief says the officer, an 11-year veteran, acted within protocol and there were no other injuries.
When something like this happens, it hits home and you reevaluate everything, and the love for somebody, it really shines.
So many parents feeling that kind of relief tonight, knowing today could have ended very differently. And all the kids I spoke with here told me that the lockdown drills they've been through really helped. And today that training kicked in. Tomorrow they'll be back in school. Lester?
All right, Molly Hunter, thank you. Back inside now, and at this hour in New Orleans, an intense manhunt is underway for the gunman who shot and wounded 10 people near the famed French Quarter. Newly released surveillance video shows the moment of the shootings and a crowd of people running. One person was detained for questioning but later released. For the first time, the American woman who says she was directed to have sexual encounters with Prince Andrew is appealing to the British public to believe her side of the story, saying she was trafficked to London by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Stephanie Gosk has details.
It was a really scary time in my life. I had just been abused by a member of a royal family.
Tonight, Virginia Giuffre in prime time, taking her case straight to the British people in an interview on the BBC. Giuffre says she was directed to have sexual encounters with Prince Andrew 3 times, starting when she was just 17. The first time in London, the night she says this photo was taken. Allegedly, they went to a nightclub with Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell.
He is the most hideous dancer I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was horrible, and this guy was sweating all over me, but I knew I had to keep him happy because that's what Jeffrey and Ghislaine would expect from me.
Prince Andrew denies having sex with Giuffre and says he doesn't remember even meeting her. The Queen's second son casts doubt on the authenticity of the now infamous photo.
That's me, but whether that's my hand or whether that's the position, I have simply no recollection of a photograph ever being taken.
The people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses, like his arm was elongated or the photo was doctored. I mean, come on. I'm calling BS on this because that's what it is.
Giuffre's sit-down with the BBC was taped prior to Andrew's interview, which was considered disastrous and led to the prince stepping down from his official royal duties.
I implore the people in the UK to stand up beside me, to help me fight this fight, to not accept this as being okay.
Giuffre is demanding Prince Andrew testify under oath in the U.S. about his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Also in Britain, more heartbreak as the 2 victims of Friday's terrorist attack on London Bridge were remembered, and new video and eyewitness accounts emerged. NBC's Bill Neely is there tonight.
Raw grief at vigils today. The girlfriend of one of those murdered breaking down. The 2 victims of Friday's rampage had tried to help the man who killed them, hoping to rehabilitate convicted terrorist Usman Khan. He might have killed more, but a group of heroes using a fire extinguisher and a whale tusk tackled him before police opened fire. A California professor saw the killer strike.
I saw people die. I saw things that I'm never going to be able to unsee.
The killer's own lawyer says he fooled people that he'd reformed even a decade ago.
I'm no terrorist.
But he was convicted of plotting to bomb the US embassy, then released early. Britain's leader now using this as an election weapon.
But I've campaigned against early release and against short sentences for many years.
One victim's father hitting back at support for this, tweeting, "Don't use my son's death to promote your vile propaganda." Into this shocked city tonight comes President Trump. He's been critical before of London's response to terror and insulted the mayor. Bruised London tonight, braced for more. Lester?
All right, Bill Neely, thank you. And the president is in the UK for the NATO summit tonight as the impeachment inquiry enters a new phase here at home. The trip comes after his legal team rejected an invitation to take part in the new hearings. Here's Hallie Jackson.
Landing in London late tonight, the president set for a split-screen week, meeting with NATO leaders overseas while a new phase of the impeachment inquiry ramps up back home.
The whole thing is a hoax. Everybody knows it.
The White House is choosing not to participate in a key public hearing Wednesday, blasting a, quote, irretrievably broken process, with the top Democrat now calling that decision unfortunate. Republicans defending the president with new fallout today after an explosive moment on Meet the Press. Republican Senator John Kennedy now standing by his comments, citing several news articles when asked about the criticism he's been pushing a Kremlin talking point by suggesting Ukraine interfered with the 2016 election. That's despite widespread consensus Russia was behind it.
The fact that Russia was so aggressive does not exclude the fact that President Poroshenko actively worked for Secretary Clinton. Now, if I'm wrong, and if all these journalists are wrong,
you now have the president of Ukraine saying he actively worked for the Democratic nominee for president. I mean, now come on. I mean, I got to put up. You realize the only other person selling this argument outside the United States is this man, Vladimir Putin. You've done exactly what the Russian operation is trying to get American politicians to do. Are you at all concerned that you've been duped?
No, because you just read the articles.
There's no evidence to support Kennedy's claim. And new tonight, a report from Republicans on key committees backs the president, saying last month's public hearings showed no evidence of wrongdoing. Democrats are set to release their report tomorrow before the Judiciary Committee takes over. Lester.
All right, Hallie Jackson, thanks. A surprise shakeup for the Chicago Police Department. Superintendent Eddie Johnson fired after what Mayor Lori Lightfoot called a series of ethical lapses, coming a month before his planned retirement. Lightfoot accused Johnson of lying about an incident in October when he was found asleep at the wheel. Johnson blamed it on medication, but Lightfoot said he admitted to drinking that night. A major reversal for a lawmaker accused of campaign finance violations. Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter is now set to change his plea to guilty after his wife agreed to testify against him. Let's get more from NBC's Pete Williams.
Good morning. After spending more than a year fighting the federal charges and insisting they were politically motivated,
I've done nothing wrong, and I say bring the trial now.
Congressman Duncan Hunter now says he has agreed to plead guilty at a hearing scheduled for Tuesday in San Diego. Federal prosecutors charged him and his wife, Margaret, who was also his campaign treasurer, with spending $200,000 they received in campaign contributions on themselves, dental bills, exotic vacations, video games, and home repairs, and more than $500 to fly their pet rabbit across the country. Prosecutors said the couple joked that his purchase of Hawaiian shorts could be described in campaign reports as golf balls for wounded warriors. Prosecutors said Hunter also used campaign money to facilitate affairs with 5 women. Margaret Hunter pleaded guilty 5 months ago, adding to the pressure on him, but he tried to blame her, saying she's the one who managed the money. He told San Diego television station KUSI today why he will no longer fight the charges.
I think it's important not to have a public trial for 3 reasons, and those 3 reasons are my kids.
Hunter is running for re-election after 11 years in the House, but the county Republican Party no longer supports him, and he faces a tough primary. Once he pleads guilty, he'll be a convicted felon. Assuming he gets no long prison sentence, he can continue to serve in Congress unless he's ousted by a vote of his colleagues or the people back home. Lester?
Pete Williams, thank you, Pete. A beloved Hollywood star has died. Shelley Morrison was best known for playing Rosario Salazar, the no-nonsense maid on NBC's Will and Grace. She became an instant hit with the wisecracking role. Shelley Morrison was 83. Just ahead as we continue tonight, the hidden killer inside a children's hospital. It went on for years. How did the hospital not know? What was hiding inside the operating room, striking children? A major new class action lawsuit to tell you about tonight. Also on the Cyber Monday, the major deals still left. We'll tell you about the hottest items and the deepest discounts in the days ahead. All right, back now with the hidden killer at a Seattle Children's Hospital. Families of patients who died filing a class action lawsuit claiming they were infected by mold. Here's Steve Patterson.
Tonight, attorneys announcing a class action lawsuit against Seattle Children's Hospital, claiming young patients were infected by Aspergillus mold due to negligent maintenance of its air handling system. The hospital acknowledging last month at least 14 patients were sickened by the mold since 2001, including Aiden Wills, diagnosed with Aspergillus fungal infection in January of 2009 after undergoing a procedure. He died 2 months later.
Simply put, we failed.
In all, 6 patients died after becoming infected.
Looking back, we should have made the connection sooner.
The hospital has since taken several of its operating rooms out of service after detecting dangerous levels of Aspergillus in the air filtration system, causing them to postpone or outsource operations for thousands of patients. Aspergillus is a common mold found in soil and dust, inhaled by millions every day.
For most of us, getting exposed on a daily basis to this mold is not a big issue.
But for those with vulnerable immune systems, it can be harmful.
One of the more dangerous places for this mold to be present are in operating rooms, especially in children's hospitals, because during and after the surgery, their immune system is going to be compromised. They can't fight it off.
The hospital did not respond to NBC's request for comment today, but last month said it is in the process of installing new air filtration systems in several of the operating rooms that have been shut down. Lester?
All right, Steve Patterson, thanks. Up next, Cyber Monday is almost over, but there are still big deals to be had. We're going to tell you where. Well, technically just a few hours left on this Cyber Monday, but here's the deal. The deals don't stop at midnight this year. Here's Jolene Kent.
Start Sunday. Don't miss out on Cyber Monday savings.
Tonight, Cyber Monday is set to shatter records. American shoppers on pace to spend more than $9 billion in just 24 hours online. Amazon shifting into overdrive as rivals Walmart and Target move in on its territory.
Amazon tells us they're packing and shipping millions of orders as customers take advantage of thousands of discounts. All of this expected to propel Amazon to have its best day in company history.
LOL Surprise. The most talked about items this holiday season, LOL Surprise dolls, Madden 20, and Frozen 2 toys. And some of the best Cyber Monday discounts, Hertz offering 40% off future car rentals if you pay up front. JetBlue hawking $39 fares on some routes between December 10th and February 13th. Many price cuts will extend through Cyber Week. REI is slashing 50% off online and in-store through December 8th. And Target rolling out deep discounts every day from bedding to beauty. But tonight, the shopping sprint will peak just before midnight. Consumers estimated to spend $11 million a minute in the final hour of the day, capitalizing on deals before they disappear. Jolene Kent, NBC News, Rialto, California.
Up next, a surprise wedding guest and her incredible bond with the bride after a life-saving match. Also developing, a potential disaster averted today when an officer shot a student who had pulled out a gun in his high school west of Milwaukee. Molly Hunter is there tonight. In tonight's Inspiring America, the bride and the wedding guest she'd never met after a life-saving gift. Here's Kevin Tibbles.
An extra special celebration on Sarah Russell's wedding day with someone she'd never met.
All I said to her, I think, was, I love you so much. And I think that's all she said to me, too.
Sarah is a nurse in the nation's capital. 8 years ago, she enrolled in an international bone marrow registry.
It started with a simple cheek swab from myself.
And look where it's gone.
And look where it's gone.
Far away in Ohio, Kinley Stroll had been losing her fight with leukemia. Sarah was her miracle match for a bone marrow transplant.
I feel like I'm a part of her, and I feel like she's a part of me.
And thank you will never be enough.
Kinley's mom, Michelle, wanted to know who saved her daughter's life. She sent Sarah an email with a photo of Kinley.
The generosity of someone like you is truly amazing.
If I can be one person that help her beat cancer and fulfill all her dreams and hopes, I want to be that person for her.
Kinley, now 14 and cancer-free, was invited to Sarah's wedding.
She gave me something from her, and so I feel like we're just bonded together forever now.
And Kinley presented Sarah with a special gift.
And then it says, because of you, I live.
A simple, painless test can provide the gift of life and a bond forever.
Save someone's life like Sarah saved mine.
Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Arlington, Virginia.
And we understand Sarah and Kinley talk practically every day. That's Nightly News. I'm Lester Holt. Good night, everyone.